Welcome back to my channel, Celebes. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. The Eddie Cochran mystery finally solved and isn't good. Eddie Cochran was born Ray Edward Cochran on October 3, 1938 in Albert Lea, Minnesota. From when he was little, Cochran showed amazing musical talent and loved to perform. He grew up in a family that helped him love music. He quickly got really good at many instruments like guitar, piano, and bass. This let him try different sounds and styles right from the start. When he was a teenager, Cochran was already playing at local places and radio shows. He had incredible musical skills that made him different from other kids his age. This showed everyone he would become a big star soon. Cochran's career really started taking off in the late 1950s when he signed with Liberty Records and started recording hits that would make him famous in rock and roll history. His songs had a wild, exciting sound and smart, catchy words. They captured the rebel spirit of young people who wanted change and fun. Hits like Summertime Blues, Come On Everybody, and 20 Flight Rock didn't just climb the music charts. They also became lasting songs of teenage rebellion and young energy. Summertime Blues especially showed Cochran's amazing ability to mix rockabilly, country, and rhythm and blues into a style that was both easy to understand and groundbreaking. This influenced many artists who came after him. Besides his recording success, Cochran was known for his electric live shows that were full of confidence, charm, and unstoppable energy. He often played many instruments during shows, showing a versatility that impressed both audiences and other musicians. His new recording tricks, like layering many guitar tracks and trying echo and distortion, showed a forward-thinking approach that was unusual for his time. This helped shape the sound of rock music for many years. Many later rock stars, including the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and The Who, have said Cochran was a major influence on them. During his sadly short but exciting music career, Eddie Cochran made many notable TV appearances that showed not only his musical skills, but also his charm, young energy, and ability to connect with audiences. This was during a time when rock and roll was still fresh, raw, and controversial to some people. One of his earliest and most memorable TV spots came on October 22, 1957, when he appeared in Portland, Oregon on KPTV local variety program High Time, which was hosted by Gene Brenler. The show was known for featuring a mix of music, comedy, and light entertainment aimed at teenagers and young adults. It gave upcoming musicians a valuable chance to reach regional audiences. Cochran, dressed in his trademark sharp, youthful style, likely wearing his slick-back hair and guitar slung comfortably over his shoulder, performed the classic tune, Am I Blue? It was a performance that showed his ability to sing a standard song with emotion and style. Later that same year, during late 1957, Cochran was invited to join the biggest show of Stars for 57 tour, one of the most ambitious and star-studded concert packages of the decade. This tour was practically a traveling museum of rock and roll and rhythm and blues talent. It featured some of the biggest names of the time, Buddy Holly and the Crickets, fresh off their breakthrough hits, the piano-pounding genius of Fats Domino, the guitar wizardry and charisma of Chuck Berry, the harmonizing magic of the Everly Brothers, teen idol Buddy Knox, the high-energy showmanship of Frankie Lyman, and the smooth pop stylings of Paul Anka, among others. Each night, Cochran took the stage alongside these icons, delivering his own electrifying sets to packed auditorium. The tour not only made his reputation as a live performer stronger, but also placed him in the company of legends, many of whom would influence his artistry and career path. Working closely with music manager Jerry Caphart, she wrote several songs that would become closely associated with Cochran. Among these were heartfelt compositions like Love Again and Cherished Memories, which showed not only her songwriting skill, but also her deep understanding of Cochran's musical style and emotional range. Perhaps her most notable achievement in collaboration with Cochran's Circle was co-writing the 1959 rockabilly hit Something Else alongside Cochran's brother Bill. This song, which became symbolic of the rebellious spirit of the era, illustrated how Sheely's contributions to Cochran's career were as significant as they were personal, intertwining her creative energy with his iconic sound. The romantic dimension of their relationship was equally compelling. Sheely had reportedly been smitten with Cochran for 2 years before he returned her feelings, navigating the delicate line between professional admiration and personal desire. In an effort to capture Cochran's attention, she undertook a striking transformation. Originally a brunette, she dyed her hair blonde, a bold style choice that reflected both her determination and her awareness of the rock and roll visual culture. She also invested in a stylish new wardrobe, carefully choosing her appearance to align with the glamorous image she believed would appeal to Cochran. Their connection solidified after a New Year's Eve party hosted by Cochran in New York in 1958, an event that would mark the beginning of their romantic relationship. From that moment onward, they became inseparable. And by 1960, they were secretly engaged, quietly planning a future together while dealing with the pressures of fame and the intense scrutiny of the music industry. The lasting influence of their romance extended decades beyond Cochran's tragic death. In 1988, Levi, Strauss & Company took advantage of the legendary status of both Cochran and his relationship with Sheely in a television commercial promoting their Levi's 501 jeans. Directed by Sid McCartney, the ad recreated the story of how Sheely had caught Cochran's attention at that fateful 1958 New Year's Eve party. Actress Sharon Dovellin played Sheely, portraying the charm and boldness that had won over the young rock star, while the commercial storytelling suggested that Sheely herself was narrating the encounter, adding a layer of authenticity and nostalgia. The commercial was accompanied by Cochran's energetic hit, Come On Everybody, which was re-released as a promotional single to go along with the advertisement. The campaign also sparked renewed interest in Cochran's music, culminating in a compilation album of his greatest hits. The story of Eddie Cochran, the pioneering rock and roll guitarist and singer-songwriter, is often covered in a mixture of nostalgia, legend, and tragic mystery. For decades, fans and music historians have speculated about the circumstances surrounding the untimely death of this young icon, whose influence on music far outstripped his brief career. Born in 1938 in Albert Lea, Minnesota, Cochran became a symbol of the rebellious energy of the 1950s with hits like Summertime Blues, Come On Everybody, and 20 Flight Rock, which not only captured the teenage spirit of the era, but also inspired countless future rock musicians, including the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. However, his life came to a sudden, shocking end in April 1960 at the age of just 21, following a car accident in England, a country he had come to tour and conquer as part of the growing rock scene. For decades, the exact details of that accident, as well as the events leading up to it, have been the subject of rumors. For decades, the precise details of that accident, as well as the events leading up to it, have been the subject of rumors, half-truths, and speculation, feeding a near-mythical aura of mystery around Cochran's death. The truth, however, as revealed through more recent investigations, is far darker and more unsettling than the romanticized stories that circulated for years. It turns out that Cochran's accident was not merely a tragic mishap, but a combination of reckless circumstances, negligence, and unfortunate timing. Witness accounts, medical reports, and archival documents now suggest that the vehicle in which Cochran was riding may have been poorly maintained, that safety precautions were minimal or ignored, and that emergency response to the crash was inadequate by today's standards. Perhaps most haunting of all are the medical revelations surrounding Cochran's death. Autopsy reports reinterpreted by modern forensic experts suggest that immediate medical intervention might have saved his life. Cochran suffered severe internal injuries, including a punctured lung and significant head trauma that were treatable had he received timely and advanced care. Instead, delays in emergency response and limited medical facilities contributed to the young star's death. These facts transformed the narrative from one of sudden, shocking loss into a cautionary tale of what could have been prevented, deepening the heartbreak for a generation of fans who had long idealized Cochran as an untouchable musical icon. Even more disheartening is the way in which the aftermath of his death was handled both by those close to him and by the industry at large. Instead of a clear, transparent investigation, there were conflicting reports and a frustrating lack of accountability, leaving fans for decades with lingering questions about who or what was responsible for cutting short the life of such a vibrant talent. The revelation of these facts not only solves a long-standing mystery, but also paints a sobering picture of how fame, youth, and the pressures of touring in the early rock era could collide in devastating ways. In this sense, the resolution of the Eddie Cochran mystery is not uplifting or comforting. It is a reminder that even legends are vulnerable to the same cruel realities as anyone else, and that the glamour of rock and roll can sometimes mask a much grimmer truth behind the scenes. Ultimately, understanding what really happened to Eddie Cochran deepens the sadness of his legacy. It allows us to appreciate not just his musical genius, but also the fragility of life in the fast lane of fame, the dangerous conditions faced by touring musicians of his time, and the often overlooked human cost behind the glittering surface of 1950s rock and roll. The mystery has finally been solved, but heartbreakingly, the answer isn't